What's up, everybody? It's Sunday night's late night agenda, and I'm your host Craig. How the hell are we all feeling? We've got through this weekend of international football, ladies and gents. Next weekend, the Reds will be back in action. We've done it. We've got through it. There's still a few games to come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time, but don't worry about it. The main weekend part is over. Next weekend, the Reds are back in action. How the hell are we all feeling tonight? I can already see in the chat that a lot of people are confused around the Virgil van Dijk contract situation. I promise I'll do my best to clear that up as the stream goes on. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to come in, because you know what happens if I don't? I end up going over the same things a couple of times, and that just annoys everybody. So, look, how are we? I hope we all had a wonderful weekend. Did we enjoy UFC last night? What have we done if we watched the internationals, ladies and gents? Thank you to everyone that's saying hello as well. Right, a lot of you people seem to be under misinformation, I think is about the fair to say. A lot of people saying VVD has signed a new contract. I can categorically state, and I don't mean this in a Brendan Rodgers-esque type of way, Virgil van Dijk has not signed a new Liverpool contract. Let me repeat that. Virgil van Dijk has not signed a new Liverpool contract. I'm going to go through it in more detail, ladies and gents. I'm not just going to drop that one on you and walk away. There's been so many conflicting reports about this today. We've heard stuff from the Mirror. We've heard stuff from loads of other people. Loads of people jumping on the bandwagon to believe that Virgil van Dijk has agreed a new £200,000 a week contract at Liverpool. Well, The Echo, and I'm basing this from The Echo, but you know what? They've been right on a lot of stuff in regards to what the ins and outs of Liverpool Football Club as of late. I know they've got stuff wrong before, but I'm trusting The Echo on this one, and here's why. So, according to The Echo, Liverpool have no imminent plans to enter negotiations to extend Virgil van Dijk's contract. Virgil van Dijk signed a 5-year deal when he joined the club, and there's also a 1-year extension clause in that deal. Now, this means that Van Dijk is already technically contracted to the club until 2024, at which point he'll be 33, almost 34 years of age. It's believed Van Dijk currently earns a weekly wage of around £125,000 a week. And I have to admit, look, when I heard he's going to get a new contract, when I heard that he's going to be on 200 grand a week, I didn't bat an eyelid. I thought he deserves it. He's earned every damn cent of that. And Virgil van Dijk, if he goes on to win the Ballon d'Or, and he already is voted Europe's best player, he probably should be on that kind of money, to be fair. But it does seem like a lot of people have jumped the gun here, and a lot of people were putting out misinformation last night. As is always the case with these things, just wait till you hear official stuff from the club. As things stand, and Virgil van Dijk has even come out and said he's bemused, apparently is the phrase that's doing the round, with regards to where this information came from. Now, if he does end up signing a new deal, fucking tickety-boo. I've no issues with that whatsoever. But as things stand, Virgil van Dijk has not signed a contract extension with Liverpool Football Club. Quite frankly, because there's no need. There's no rush. He's contracted here for a very long time anyway. Right, let me get over to you guys and see what you think about this. Because I know I was reading the chat before I came on. A lot of people were saying he has signed a new deal, Craig. He signed a new deal. He hasn't signed a new deal, ladies and gents, by the looks of it. Van Dijk is 28 years of age, for those that are asking. Just turned 28 in July. Okay, let me just get through more of your comments. Good evening to Pat. Good evening to everybody else that's saying hello as well. And thank you, Nathan. I really love this shirt. It's one that I don't wear too often. It's one of the very few white shirts that I actually own, because I don't think I can really pull off white too often. So I don't usually wear white tops. Van Dijk is 28, as I've said, for those asking. He was 28, I think his birthday's in July, if my memory serves me correct. Calvin, how are you, buddy? He hasn't been offered one, to Junkie Funky Smith. Exactly. A lot of people, and I'm not going to point fingers, because, I mean, it's easy to jump on the bandwagon when the story's breaking around everywhere saying he's about to sign a new deal. Paul Gorst of The Echo came out and said that there's no plans for Liverpool to enter negotiations. Van Dijk said he's bemused by the talk. And as I said, he's already going to be here till he's 33, 34 as it is. Now, that doesn't mean that he may not sign a new deal in another year or two, or it doesn't mean that the club may not enter the contract negotiations with him soon enough. And none of us would begrudge Virgil van Dijk a massive wage increase. But, as things stand, he isn't signing a new deal. And that's alright. Connor said, don't get why people are freaking out about it. How is our best player being happy on his current wage and not getting a big increase a bad thing? Exactly. It's not a bad thing at all, Connor. Virgil van Dijk's happy at Liverpool Football Club. He's winning shit here. He's improved as a player. He's idolised by the fans. He's working with a great manager. It's all good. There is no bad in this scenario, ladies and gents. It's all good. Liam Barr said, have you any Scotland tops, Craig? I don't. No, I don't have any, but if you want to send me one, I'll wear one. What the hell is a Chukwueze? Tom, we'll get to that, mate, soon. Don't worry about that. Andrew Childerhouse, or Childerhouse, how are you, sir? Casper, 4 years with an option of a further year is enough, said Casper, which is true. There's loads of time for Virgil van Dijk to sort out a new deal in the future. Kane said, hey Craig, looking forward to the weekend. I am, because we're going to Florida on Friday, mate, so I'm very much looking forward to it. John said, Craig, the other day you were telling us about the squad value. Do you know how much we spent for the squad? That much I don't know, John. No, I don't. I was actually trying to have that conversation with Connor. I wonder how much. I think our squad was valued at 900 and what did I say? It was 954 million pounds, something like that. Excuse me. I've no idea what that squad cost to assemble, but I would imagine, mate, less than half of what it's now worth anyway. Van Dijk will probably finish his career at Liverpool and become part of the staff, said Bassett. I actually think he will. He will finish his career here unless maybe he wants to go back to Holland and do a year when he's 36 or something. I don't know, but he's really, really happy at Liverpool Football Club. And as Connor said earlier on, there's no need to be freaking out about this. This is good news. The fact that Virgil van Dijk is happy and content where he is at this moment in time, that can only be seen as good news, ladies and gents. So don't think of this as me coming on trying to say, no new deal, everything's up in the air. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Van Dijk's happy. We're happy. He's going to carry on winning things with this football club and he's going to be here for a very long time. Calvin Hamilton said, can't wait for this international break to be over. I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. There's been some decent games, actually. The Germany-Holland game wasn't a bad one. Obviously, Ireland getting the 1-1 draw with Switzerland. And then Denmark drawn today as well away at Georgia is a big boost for us, for Ireland, for our qualification hopes. What else we got? Barcelona have inquired for VVD. Fuck Barcelona, Casper. They can inquire all they want. They ain't getting them, pal. Subi, how are you, sir? Said, sorry if not been coming on. I've been at school and busy. Never any need to apologise, Subi, mate. As I've always said, whenever you get a chance, whenever anybody comes on, we really appreciate your time. But there's no expectations for us. Sean said, wait, is the VVD deal fake? Yes, it is, mate. Because there's been no confirmation from any reliable source that he signed this new deal. That's what I said last night. I was unsure when it broke. I was checking to try and figure out if it was going to happen. And then Connor messaged me today and he said, hey, the Echo have just come out and said that it's not happening. Paul Gorst, the guy who's taken over from James Pearce, said that Liverpool have no plans to enter into negotiations for a new deal. And then stories start coming out that Van Dijk was even bemused by the stories. But again, as Connor pointed out, it isn't a bad thing. He's happy. It's all good. Barca couldn't afford VVD, which you are absolutely right about, Stephen Booker. Davey said, I was in Florida a few months ago, best holiday in the world. I hope you enjoy it. It's not a holiday, mate. It's work. We're going over for work, don't you know? No, I've been there myself, mate, quite a few times. I think this is my 6th trip to Florida. I love it. Like yourself, I absolutely love it over there. VVD is our future GOAT, said John. That's a big claim, mate. I don't think he'll ever get ahead of Kenny Dalglish and probably Steven Gerrard. I mean, that is a big, big claim. International games suck, said Casper. I'll get on to Chukwueze as well in a couple of minutes because a lot of people are asking about Samuel Chukwueze. Don't worry, I will get on to him. We touched on it a little bit on last night's stream as well. VVD at least 100 million after Slabheads, 80 million, said Happily Eggs. If you were to put a value on Virgil van Dijk, ladies and gents, what would you do? I know we ain't selling him, so we don't need to worry about that. But what type of a value would you put on Virgil van Dijk if you had to put one? I would say, realistically, if Slabheads 80 million, it's got to be 120, 125 for Virgil van Dijk right now. It has to be. You're talking about possibly the Ballon d'Or winner, the best footballer on the planet for this year. Chukwueze we'll get to in a couple of minutes, ladies and gents. Don't worry, I promise you. We've a lot to get through tonight. We've a long time, so calm, relax, it's all good. Do you think Wales will qualify for the Euros? No, I don't, Riley. Don't mean that to be belittling. I looked at the groups and it's not looking great for them. It's not looking great for Scotland. For Ireland, it's touch and go. I mean, we had a really good start. We had all the handy games at the start, and then we got a draw against Switzerland. So for us, Georgia away, then we have Denmark at home and Switzerland away. Switzerland away, then Denmark at home. So it's a tough finish for Ireland as well. But hopefully Ireland can nick at least that second spot. Hopefully next Saturday, another 3 points at Pat Moynihan. Can't wait for the Premier League to be back. How long are you going to be away? A week, Casper. We're going Friday. Of course, us being Anfield agenda, being me and Connor, we're flying out on Friday the 13th. But we're going to be back the following Friday. Technically the Saturday morning of the 21st. And then I'll be back for 3 weeks, and then I'm going off for another week, heading off with the family to Tenerife. But I'll be back just in time for the United game. So busy times ahead. Really looking forward to, as I said before, meeting up with the Tampa Bay Supporters Club, with the Tallahassee Supporters Club while we're over in Florida. Going to be taking in the Orlando City versus New England game as well. So it's just going to be a really good work trip. Future captain after Hendo and Milner, said Sean McWilliams. I would agree, Sean. Yep. And then obviously Trent, I think, has a future role as Liverpool captain at some point. Craig Adams said, ordered season 1 of Love Hate because I've never seen it. I trust your judgment. You will love it, mate. Season 1 is good, but from season 2, season 3, oh mate, it goes through the roof. So just go through season 1, and the major changes start coming towards the end of season 1 into season 2, mate. You'll absolutely love it. 999 million, said Davey 31 for Virgil van Dijk with regards to his value, possibly. Is it true Matip's on the last year of his contract? Yes, LFC Gamer, that is true. And I would imagine the club are going to sit down and try and negotiate an extension with him, because he's quite frankly earned it, hasn't he? Sean McWilliams reckons 200 mil for Van Dijk if he wins the Ballon d'Or. Luke said, hey Craig, just seen an amazing video of our very own Superman early doors at Red Bull Salzburg. Stunning. Yeah, he's an amazing player, mate, and we're blessed to have him at the football club. We're at this moment in time, we're sitting quite pretty, aren't we? I mean, it's great to be a Liverpool fan. I'll have a little bit later on in the stream that I'm going to go through with you guys that I think you'll enjoy, because we touched on it earlier on yesterday. So bear with me. It's a belter. You're going to enjoy this. It's going to be fun. Let's put it that way. Craig Pal, you looking forward to the Champions League? Absolutely, Kane. Love it, mate. Nothing sexier than Champions League football. Well, from a footballing perspective. First game at Napoli is going to be a difficult one, though, and very much looking forward to being. We'll be in Tampa for that one, so we'll be with the official Liverpool Supporters Club Tampa Bay for that game, and really looking forward to meeting up with Casey, David, and all the guys there. If Maguire's 85 million, then Matip should be 100 million, said Tom Jones. Where do I stand on Ben Woodburn? I don't think he's good enough, Casper, is where I stand at this moment in time, mate. I don't think he'll make it. And even the loan move that he got, I mean, I was shocked at how low down the divisions he's went. So I don't think we're going to see Ben Woodburn making it at Liverpool, unfortunately. But it's very difficult, because I never want to be negative towards a young player. Andre reckons VVD's worth at least 160 million. Scotty said, Craig, in case you didn't know, Scotland apparently have got a qualifier because it's Scotland, England, Ireland, Wales for the next time. That's not how it works, mate. So this Euros has been shared around Europe, mate, but I don't think that there's going to be usually the host nations qualify. I don't think Scotland do get a place because of that. And it's the same way Ireland don't get a place, we have to qualify. What do you think about these Messi fanboys all saying Messi deserves to win Ballon d'Or over Van Dijk? I have a fucking huge issue with Messi fanboys, with Neymar fanboys, with any of these people that follow players instead of football clubs. It does my fucking head in. Look, I've said this numerous times. LFC Gamer, Lionel Messi is the greatest footballer of my generation. No doubt about it. Lionel Messi has deservedly won so many accolades over the years and will probably continue to win some more. But Virgil van Dijk was the best player in Europe and pretty much therefore in the world in the last year. And if the Messi fanboys are too blinded by their love of Lionel Messi to see that, then sucks to be them. You've got to stand back sometimes and be honest about these things. And Lionel Messi had a great season, as he always does, because he's a tremendous footballer. But Virgil van Dijk did things that defenders just shouldn't do. He has been fucking outstanding for club and country. He's won the Champions League, done really well in the Nations League, won the Super Cup, got to 97 points with Liverpool in the league, has helped Liverpool be unbeaten in 2 seasons at home in the Premier League. What more does a defender have to do to win the Ballon d'Or? So if these guys don't think that Virgil van Dijk deserves the Ballon d'Or, then I would quite frankly say that they know fuck all about the sport and that they're just blinded by their love of Lionel Messi, who I love, by the way. I'm a real Messi fan, but Virgil van Dijk deserves to win the Ballon d'Or. There's nobody's going to convince me that Ronaldo shouldn't even be in the fucking conversation, by the way, this year. He's no place in this conversation. It should be a straight shootout between Messi and Van Dijk. And I think if I was put a percentage on it, I would say 55-45 in Van Dijk's favour for me. I don't think he's like leaps and bounds ahead of Messi. As I said, Messi had a great season, but it's got to be Virgil van Dijk. It's got to be. And the fact that he's already won the UEFA award, I can't really see it changing, to be honest. I think he'll go on and win the Ballon d'Or as well. Do you think in a couple of years Steven Gerrard will be the Liverpool manager when Klopp retires? Well, I don't think he'll be retiring Riley just yet. I think he might leave Liverpool in 2022. For Stevie G, mate, it depends on what he does between now and then. I mean, ideally, a lot of us would love him to come in as manager, but he's got to earn the right to become Liverpool manager, not just because he's a former Liverpool great as a player. Let's see how he gets on at Rangers, but I'd like to see him take another step up after that before he came into the Liverpool job. I wouldn't be surprised, and I know a lot of people have kind of been thinking this as well, don't rule out Pep Lijnders in this whole situation. Pep Lijnders is a very, very good coach, rated very highly by everybody within the game. Maybe a Lijnders Gerrard manager vice manager thing in the future, I don't know, or manager assistant manager thing in the future. Aidan Andrew said need something from the Napoli game. It's always good to get your Champions League campaign off, mate, with something from the start, and it's the most difficult of the games that we're going to have away against Napoli. Very difficult game. If we can come out there with a point or even 3 points, then it's gonna. You'd imagine the rest of the group should pretty much take care of itself. To be fair, Messi winning is not impossible, but Big Virg is that guy. It's not impossible, but it would be very contradictory of all the other awards that have already been voted for, wouldn't it? I mean, Van Dijk's already won the UEFA award, so I would imagine it's pretty much. I mean, Messi didn't exactly go and light up the whatchamacallit, the Copa America or anything. So yeah, I just don't see it being any different. Virgil van Dijk, best defender ever. What do you think, mate? I don't know, mate. I mean, Alan Hansen is an outstanding defender, was an outstanding defender. Little bit ahead of my time. Sami Hyypiä, tremendous as well. But look, Van Dijk's right up there. Van Dijk is absolutely outstanding, and I think that's a conversation to have when his time at Liverpool is over, rather than doing it right now. He's only here, a year and a half or so let him get a few more years under his belt, and then it could be so obvious that we don't even have to have this debate. Craig, that's what the commentary said for the Scotland versus Russia game. Well, mate, let me put it this way. Why would they bother being in the qualifiers if they'd already got a game? There are games taking place in Scotland. There are games taking place in Dublin. There are games taking place in England, mate. But why would they have them in the qualifiers if they'd already qualified? Do you get where I'm coming from? Okay, what else have we got? We destroyed that little twerp, Messi said happily eggs. Yeah, we broke that motherfucker. You could see it. He was. They were all done. They were like rabbits in the headlights at Anfield. What time would you say you've gone over this thing you want us all to hear? I don't know, mate. Whenever I get round to it. Last time I checked, Van Dijk has an 80% chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. How's that calculated, Shane? That's a genuine question, mate. I'm not being a smart arse, I promise you. Because I usually try and look at the bookies odds for stuff like this. Sir Alex Fergus said, I'm a United supporter and I agree. And thank you, mate. I really do appreciate your honesty in that. I think it's fair. I mean, I've said this before when other Liverpool players have been up for it. Let's say Mohamed Salah scored as many goals as he did. I think we were just of the mindset that he deserved to be in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or that year. But he didn't win it and nobody was really up in arms about it. He had a great season. Van Dijk, I mean, if he doesn't win it, what the fuck is it going to take for a defender to win it? Do you know what I mean? Cannavaro won it. What's it going to take for another defender to win it? Graham Sangster said, if Messi wanted to prove himself, he'd have played in the Premiership. I don't know about that. I don't know where I stand on that. And that is something that a lot of people use as a measuring tool. So people often say, well, look, Cristiano Ronaldo was better because he did it in the English league, he did it in Spain, he's doing it over in Italy now at Juventus. And I understand that. It's a fair conversational point. But Lionel Messi is Lionel fucking Messi at the end of the day, and he's done it big time. He's done it in the Champions League. He's done it massively for Barcelona, and I don't know, I get both parts of it, but I also like the idea of a one-club man. I think it's very rare these days that you get a player that will stay at a club for almost all of his career. Sometimes, like with Stevie G, right at the end, they might move on. But look, it's a difficult conversation to have, because the conversation shouldn't be, is Lionel Messi the greatest player of a generation? Yes, but that doesn't mean he deserves to win the Ballon d'Or every single season. Like, he got to the semi-finals. He won the Spanish League. They didn't win the Spanish Cup. They got beaten. They got knocked out in the Champions League by Liverpool. Usually, you would expect the Ballon d'Or winner to come from somebody who wins the Champions League. I think I'm speaking quite fairly when I say that. And Virgil van Dijk won the Champions League. Casper said, I can't stop laughing about Emre Can not getting a place in the Juventus Champions League squad. Yeah, mate, the grass isn't always greener, buddy, is it? As we've said a few times. Jared has to move to a Premier League club before he gets a Liverpool job, said Oliver. I would tend to agree with you, Oliver, mate, and a decent level of Premier League job as well. We spoke about Watford sacking Javi Garcia and putting Quique Sanchez-Flores back into the job, which, that's mad to me. I'm baffled by that one. Right, let's get on to Chukwueze, because a lot of people are asking me about Samuel Chukwueze. So, we've mentioned this player before. Actually, somebody brought it up yesterday, I think, as well. Samuel Chukwueze plays for Villarreal. We were linked with him last summer, if memory serves me correct. But Liverpool have continued to scout him. And as mentioned by lots of people on the stream, we've been strongly linked to him again. The most recent reports of Liverpool interest come from Calcio Mercato, and Goal as well have also said that the Reds have been monitoring the player for a long time. He's from Villarreal. He's a winger. He's very, very pacey, still quite raw, still developing his game. I think it's right to have left him at Villarreal for this season from Liverpool's perspective. There's been some stuff about a January move, and I want to see what you guys think about this. I mean, you've asked me a few times, who do I think we'd go for in January, and I've always said I don't know if we'd make a signing in January, but if Liverpool have been impressed and are continuing to monitor Chukwueze, why not? Why not? I mean, I've no idea what the price point might be. I'm just gauging this off stories that I've come out with, or I've come out what I've read, as I said, from Calcio Mercato and from Goal. So, what do you guys think? Anybody watch much of Chukwueze? Didn't really do too much in the AFCON, if I'm being honest with you, when I've watched them there. But at Villarreal, he does look like he has something about him, and he is exactly the type of player that I think that we do need. A really pacey, direct, wide forward who scares the shit out of defenders and can rotate in with our front three. So it makes sense. When I looked at it, yeah, I thought it does make... I've no idea about price though. So if you guys have seen a price, please do let me know. David McCarthy said Mick McCarthy for 2022. No, thank you, mate. And I'm actually really looking forward to Stephen Kenny taking over and seeing how he gets on in the senior Irish job. Callum, talk to you soon, buddy. Chukwueze, Meg, Sergio Ramos. Well, there you go. I mean, if that doesn't endear him to the rest of us, I don't know what will. If he had knocked Sergio Ramos out, that probably would have got bonus points. If Messi was that good, he'd have beaten us at Anfield in the semi-finals, said Happily Eggs. He is that good. Like, Messi is amazing. Let's be fair about it. And you can say that Messi is amazing and also say that he doesn't deserve to win it, and he doesn't deserve to win the Ballon d'Or this year, in my opinion. But it is just my opinion. I don't like anybody who can't see fault in anything. So I don't like all the Messi fanboys or the Neymar fanboys that think that he can do no wrong. He can do wrong. All players can do wrong. Players have shit games. Messi has had shit games. The game at Anfield, case in point. But that doesn't mean that he's not a great player and won't go down in the history books. It just doesn't give him a divine right to fucking win everything. Gary said, I think Liverpool can go to Napoli and get a win. It'll be a very tough game. It really will. Napoli are a good side. Carlo Ancelotti has them playing well. That was a very interesting game against Juventus there, I think, just before the international break. 3-0 down in Turin. Got back to 3-3. And then, unfortunately, I think it was Koulibaly scored an own goal right at the end to give Juve a 4-3 win. So they're no mugs, as we found out in the summer when they beat us, as we found out in the very two difficult games we had against them in the Champions League last season. Gracia, not Garcia, blah, 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 Brian. Doesn't matter. You know my pronunciations are awful. Either way, still shouldn't have got the job, still shouldn't have been sacked, whatever. Watford are a laughing stock at this point. Been quite busy, so sorry for being away, said Far Royal. I normally don't ask, but what have I missed? We've just spoke about the Van Dijk contract situation, Dave. Loads of conflicting reports. The Echo saying that there's no new deal on the table for Van Dijk. There's no need for them to negotiate a new deal with him just yet because he still has a long time left on his deal. 2024, I think, is when his deal is up, including the possible 1 year extension that we have. And Van Dijk himself seems to be bemused, I think is the word that's been used a lot. Right, Stephen Booker said, Chukwueze has bags of potential, but he's in the same boat as Pepe, won't get a game. Yep, I get where you're coming from. But again, we have to stop looking at it as somebody who's going to replace everybody. We need a squad. We need to be able to rotate that front three. We need to be able to take somebody out. So the whole Pepe thing, I've always been very honest and said I didn't know much about Nicolas Pepe. I didn't watch much of Lille, so I couldn't really give an opinion. I've seen a bit more of Chukwueze than I would of Nicolas Pepe. But when we're talking about bringing these players in, we don't need to think about them as a replacement for Mane or as a replacement for Salah. We need to think about them as a squad player who can rotate in and allow these players to have a rest. And that's important because I think that's what we're lacking. At the moment, we've got young Ryan Brewster. We know how good he's going to be, but he's still developing. And we've got Divock Origi, who again had a great year last year, continuing to push on and progress. But after that, we're a little bit light. We've got Shaqiri. Doesn't have the pace that somebody like Chukwueze would have, so that would give us another option. Tell us the truth. About what? What the fuck do you want me to tell you the truth about? I'm confused, mate. If you have a question, put the question in. Like, random, vague statements don't really help. Have you seen the Drinkwater story? I have. So for those of you that don't know, Sean Dyche is going to have a word with Danny Drinkwater because even though he's on loan from Chelsea at Burnley, he was out on the sauce in Manchester and he got into a scrap. I think he got fucked out of the pub or the nightclub he was in because he was fairly tipsy. Got into a fight. And I don't know what's going on with Danny Drinkwater. I honestly don't know, and it's not fair of me to guess. I'm just going off the stuff that I've read. But yeah, he doesn't seem to be in a good place, and I hope everything's okay. I genuinely do. But it is an interesting and strange story. I mean, a lot of us believed he should never have made that move to Chelsea. And I think he turned down his first international call-up because he said he wasn't ready at the time. Strange stuff. Maybe people have more information on this than I would. Maybe Boya, for example, would have a bit more of a better background on Drinkwater from his time at Leicester. Nathan Wright said we need a backup winger for Mane because we've already got Shaqiri for Salah, who, let's be quite frank about it, isn't a good enough backup for Mohamed Salah, if we're being frank. Shaqiri can do jobs, but if Salah was to be out for 6 weeks, I wouldn't be confident having Sheridan Shaqiri to come in and fill in there for 6 weeks. That's just my opinion, though. Casper said Arsenal beat Napoli in Europe last year, so it's doable. Yeah, it is doable, mate. It's definitely doable. Just saying it ain't going to be easy. Do you think Messi and Ronaldo will be up for the Ballon d'Or when they're 50? Probably. Or there'll at least be people shouting for it, Neil, to say that they should be there. A lot of the time, yeah, this stuff does my head in. I don't like people who are just fans of players over football clubs. I mean, it seems to be a newer trend, and for me, it's the badge. You always love the badge, and the players are transient employees of the football club that come and go, but it's the badge that you're there for. And look, it is great that Messi's been at Barcelona his entire career. It is to be admired, quite frankly, in my opinion. But it's also great to see the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo play for Manchester United, do well there, go over to Real Madrid, do really well there, then go to Juventus and win the league over there. So, I mean, there's valid points to be made on both sides of that debate. Not living up to his name, a lot of people are saying with Danny Drinkwater. Yeah, fair point. I mean, when you're right, you're right. And as Boya said, like we've pointed out many times, he's talking about Danny Drinkwater here, and he said the grass isn't always greener. And we've said that about Emre Can, we've said that about Coutinho, we've said that about Jordan Ibe, Jerome Sinclair, Bobby Duncan. And it is true. Sometimes players need to understand that they're in the right place for the development at the right time, and it just hasn't worked out for Danny Drinkwater. We need to start playing Shaqiri, said Sean Cunningham. I mean, why though? Why do we need to start playing him? I don't understand. Like, what does he bring? Whenever I see him, he does the odd good thing, and he can have an impact from the bench. But I wouldn't be confident with Shaqiri starting games on a regular basis, and I've got to be honest about that. I think Shaqiri is a 6.5 out of 10 player that can get to a 7.5 out of 10 on a very good day, but he's just a cover player for me, and I'll never argue about why we bought him, because at that price, I mean, it was ridiculous. It was common sense. I mean, when you spend 13 million to get an established international like that, it was good value for money. Speaking of Fabio Cannavaro, he's your twin, said LFC. I'll take that, mate. I'll absolutely take that. I've had that. I've had Pepe Reina. They're the good ones. Then we'll get on to the Grus and the Dara O'Briens and the Batesons and all the other stuff. PDK said, don't think VVD signed a new contract, as there's no official statement from anybody Liverpool related. He hasn't, and he's even been speaking about it a little bit himself, I believe. But again, it's okay, because he's here until at least 2024, and the club may renew. The club may give him a wage increase, because none of us could begrudge him an increase because he's been so damn good. Craig Adams said, I'd rather go for Werner than Chukwueze, more experienced. Very good point, Craig, and a very good player as well. But again, I go back to the reasoning behind not going for Timo Werner. It was briefed that the reason we didn't go for Werner was because Jurgen Klopp believed so much in Ryan Brewster. But still, I agree with you. And I think there's a €30 million or £30 million release clause in Timo Werner's new contract that he signed at RB Leipzig. Far Isle said, football's a team sport and the team is what's important in the end. Exactly. And how many times have we seen, like we spoke last night a little bit about the Gremio president or whoever it was saying that Real Madrid were this great team of Galacticos, and yeah, but Liverpool are a team of great players, and the team is greater than the sum of their parts individually, which is what makes us so fucking good. And team is important, as Far Isle has said. Wilson could have the same impact as Shaqiri, said Craig Adams. Yeah, and I would have probably rather have rolled the dice on Wilson, because what have you got to lose there? But again, the move to Bournemouth for him, I think it will work out well. And it's going to be good to see him in the Premier League. I mean, it's kind of a risk-free move for Liverpool, isn't it? Give him a loan to Bournemouth under a good manager in Eddie Howe, playing in the Premier League as we'd like him to, and see how he gets on. I mean, he's already up for goal of the month for that banger of a free kick against Man City. London Liver 96 said, do you think we need Alisson Becker for the Champions League? Or Alisson back, excuse me, for the Champions League. Yes, ideally, definitely, mate. I mean, if you could have him gone over to Naples for that game against Napoli, you would be better off. But at the same time, we've done all right with Adrian there. I think there's a few little differences you'll see in that we won't play the ball around the back as much. We won't put it back to the keeper as much as we would perhaps under Alisson. But in an ideal world, yes, but I don't think he will be. I think it might be a little bit too soon, but I hope I'm wrong on that one, pal. It's about the team you support. You support the team, win, lose or draw, said Popeye Doyle. Claudio Caniggia against Cameroon, riding the tackles, world class, ended up playing for Dundee. Caniggia was a very good player. Shaqiri isn't good at the simple things, said Tom Jones. Shaqiri in all his career has only been able to turn it on in odd moments, said Happily Eggs. And all of those things are the things that I believe as well. There are moments where Shaqiri can do outstanding things, but they don't come frequent enough for my liking for him to be able to come in and play a prolonged period of games. But bringing him on when you need balls into the box, when you need set pieces, when you need a free kick, when you need maybe a little ball around the back, he does have that in his locker. So I understand why people perhaps see these moments and think that he is the solution. For me, I just don't think he is. But he's a Liverpool player, and he deserves our respect because he's a Liverpool player. Cannavaro actually has hair now. I sold out then, Kyle. Do you know what I mean? He sold out. He should go back to being bald. Karen Weaver said, I respect Ronaldo more because he's done it at numerous clubs, and we have to accept as good as Messi is. Yeah, he's Mr. Barcelona. I don't think he'd be as successful at another club. I do. I honestly do. I think he'd walk into any team in the world and be absolutely sensational. Because this is how I view it. Messi's a better footballer than Cristiano Ronaldo. He's better skill. He's a better dribbler. I mean, there's so many things he's better at, but Cristiano Ronaldo is a supreme athlete, and he has that over Lionel Messi. And Cristiano Ronaldo, I think, has worked harder or as hard as any footballer in the history of the game to get where he is. Actually, on that, did you see there was a leak to show that apparently Nike paid Cristiano Ronaldo 147 million fucking pound for their little sponsorship agreement. 147 million from Nike. So they definitely have the wedge to give Liverpool a decent kit manufacturer deal if they're the front runners. Let me just catch up on some more of your comments. Xavi and Iniesta carried Messi to the Champions League. Look, Xavi and Iniesta are also outstanding footballers, mate. And it was a pleasure to watch them as well. But let's not underplay how good Messi was. Let's not turn this into us all saying that Messi is overhyped, because he is not overhyped. Look at the players who have played the game. You ask them. Some will say Messi, some will say Ronaldo, fair enough. But nobody will ever say to you that he was carried by anybody. Lionel Messi is outstanding. I was going to say exceptional. Outstanding and exceptional. He's an excellent footballer, as is Ronaldo. Get Maddison and Werner in January, said London Live at 96. I can't imagine that there's any way that Leicester are going to sell James Maddison in January. I just couldn't see it happening. Shane Coffey said, Craig, did you see Man City are considering to sign Skriniar in January to compensate for Laporte's injury? No, I haven't seen that, mate. How long is Laporte out for? Was it 4 to 6 months? Is that what was doing the round? So that will keep him out January and then working his way back. They could probably do with dipping into the transfer market, in all honesty, because they were looking at Maguire anyway, regardless of having no injuries, because obviously they lost Vincent Kompany. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see them go in and try and sign another centre back. Let's just hope they've dropped a shit ton of points before then. Pop and Powell said, I'm not saying VVD will do it, but some players don't care about contracts. If they want out, they'll get out. Yeah, you're right. Contracts, as we've heard many times, aren't worth the paper that they're written on sometimes, and players do hold the power these days, and they can usually, in the long term, force their way out of a club if they want to. But one thing I've seen consistently with Virgil van Dijk is how much he loves being at this football club. And I think I've mentioned it to you guys before. There was a story doing the rounds when he was still playing for Southampton that he came off the pitch at Anfield after losing, and there was a tremendous reception from the crowd towards Liverpool, and he turned to one of his Southampton teammates and said, why would you not want to play here? Who wouldn't want to come and play here? Van Dijk could have chosen any club, and he chose Liverpool for a reason, and we're all eternally grateful that he did, and that of course the owners went in and backed Jurgen Klopp with the money to get him. Mark Meehan said, do you think Vardy or Wilson would come as a backup striker? There's no way we're going after Jamie Vardy, mate, and he likes life at Leicester. He's very happy there. He turned down a move to Arsenal. I think it was the year after Leicester won the Premier League. Callum Wilson, I don't know. Let's see how he gets on this season. I mean, I think, isn't he coming back from an injury? Wasn't he out for a while, if my memory serves me correct, on Callum Wilson? But he had a very good season last year, and he definitely looks like a handful. Now, of course, he's an England international as well. Far Isle said, times change, cycles come and victories can evaporate. History can be an indicator of future possibilities, but it can also show what once was. Very philosophical, Dave. I like it, mate. Any idea when Naby could be back? Yes, I did read something on that today. He's definitely further behind in his in his recuperation than Alisson is. So there is if anyone wants to read up on this, actually, there is a piece in the Echo that goes through Liverpool's injured players: Kleiny, Alisson, Paul Glatzel, who's going to be out for the entire season. Unfortunately, it's a very, very serious knee injury for him. It's a long road back, and I think Paul, I'm not sure how it's actually pronounced. I have high hopes for him. I've said before, I rated him higher than Bobby Duncan, so fingers crossed he can come back strong. Naby, I just don't know. I'd be lying if I gave you a date, but there is some information about it in the Echo. They go through their list of injured players. What have we got here? So Jurgen Klopp, actually, El Kloppo, there was a couple of things coming out about Kloppo recently. One of them, I think Dortmund have done something with Netflix. I'm sure you guys have probably seen this clip floating around social media. And Kloppo was talking about the time, I think they won the Bundesliga in 2011. And he went out on the piss and he said he was, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was absolutely fucking fluted, as we say in Ireland, like elephants drunk. And he said he somehow woke up in the back of a flatbed truck in some depot, and I hadn't got any fucking clue how we got there. Like, it just makes you love the manager even more, that he was partying and celebrating that hard. He ended up falling asleep in the back of a flatbed truck. I mean, you gotta love Kloppo. You've got to love Jurgen Klopp. He's also been speaking a little bit about Philippe. I don't know what a Bebe is. He's also been speaking a little bit about Philippe Coutinho, and he's backed him to be a success in Germany with Bayern Munich. Speaking with Bild, Jurgen Klopp said, "Amazing player. We really didn't want to let him go. Barca forced us financially," and I thought that line was actually quite interesting. "World-class player, really good transfer for Bayern and the Bundesliga. I thought it's a good fit for both when I heard about it. It may sound strange, but we didn't have enough money to get him. We'd already spent all the money we got for him. I've already told him in person that he and Bayern will be a good fit. Not so good for Dortmund. I hope Dortmund win the title again because it's getting boring with Bayern winning it every year. But Dortmund have an amazing team. Other teams like Leverkusen and Gladbach/Leipzig are interesting teams, and a lot can happen." That was very interesting to hear from Jurgen Klopp. So it seems like he suggested that he explored perhaps the possibility of bringing Coutinho back. He said we couldn't afford him, we'd spent all the money. Interesting. What do you guys think about that? It kind of makes a mockery of what we've been talking about and what I've been talking about previously about that bad blood and that relationship. So again, what do you think? Interesting to hear those words from Jurgen Klopp. A couple of things stood out in that. Barca forced us financially, and we spent all the money we got from, so we couldn't afford to buy him. Interesting. Let me know what you think on that. Casper said Adrian or Mignolet. I'd go for Adrian, mate. Again, I mean, neither would be good enough to be really first choice long term, but I would go for Adrian in that conversation. Does Glatzel have an ACL? Yes, I think it is, Callum. I think it's his ACL. I know it's a very bad knee injury, so I'm assuming it's his ACL. Vardy's one of the most underrated players of all time, said Jack. He is a nightmare for defenders, mate. He's a real handful, Jamie Vardy. I don't like the guy, but I respect the hell out of him, what he's done in his career. Jamie, what have we got? Vardy, smart guy, but Arsenal ain't it, said Aidan Andrews. Nathan Wright said, when Liverpool win the Premier League this season, nobody can say anything about Liverpool because that's all that they say. Fuck them, mate. As we say in the channel, fuck them. If Liverpool win the Premier League this year, we will celebrate like motherfuckers, and they think we're unbearable. Now, they ain't seen anything yet because Liverpool are going to keep winning trophies under Jurgen Klopp. Neil said, bollocks. I like that. Good start, mate. I'm late again. Hi, Craig and everybody. Old age needs some sleep. It's alright, buddy. Welcome in. Great to see you with us again, and thank you for the kind words. And as I said, bonus points for using the word bollocks. Okay, let me keep going. Boya said that Vardy's also turned down Atletico and Chelsea. Nice. Craig Adams said, love to go on the piss with Klopp. Oh, mate, I'd imagine that would be fun. I really do imagine that would be fun. Stephen Booker reckons it was just lip service, basically saying we didn't want him back. Klopp doesn't seem the type to bear a grudge. He's so pragmatic, said Bernadette Farrell. Dominus Earth, how are you, mate? Welcome in. The Germany top is lush. Thank you, mate. I love it. I absolutely love it. I've said to you guys before, one of my favourite ever kits was the West Germany 1990 World Cup shirt. And when I seen this shirt come out, I don't usually wear white, but I had to get this shirt. You can't see it. We're here. Let me move to one side. It's the one with the World Cup badge on it as well. I love it. I really do love this shirt. John Hamilton said, Barca were trying to rip us off. All foreign clubs do it with English clubs. They ask for ridiculous prices from us because they know we have more money and in the Premier League than most European clubs. Craig, you're going to go to Anfield this year. The plan is, yes, in April, I believe we're going over for the Villa game. Well, technically it's not this year, but I think the Villa game is the one that we've kindly been offered tickets to. Again, I don't want to use the person's name because they've every right to their privacy, but somebody did reach out to us and offer us 2 tickets to the Villa game on April the 11th, I think. So, yeah, I can't say how grateful we are for that one, and we're going to go over to that, and I can't fucking wait. It's been too long. It has been far too long. The fact that I didn't get to go, even though we were in Liverpool twice last year, we went over for the last game of the season. Obviously couldn't get a ticket, but we were there. We did the meet-up in Beer Keller. It was great meeting loads of Liverpool fans there as well. We went over for the Boss Night event as well. Before the guys went over to Madrid, we went over for the send-off party there at what used to be the Echo, but that was amazing, getting to interview Jamie Webster, which is up on the channel, by the way, if anyone's new and hasn't seen it. If you scroll back through to like May time, there's an interview there where I had a chance to talk to Jamie Webster before the show. And again, massive shout out to the guys at Boss Night for all the access and stuff that they gave us. And if you get a chance to go to a Boss Night show, you will not be disappointed. It was fucking class. Never forget it. Those moments will live with me as long as I live, and I have a load of footage on my phone of videos that I took there. It was a great night. Yeah, can't say enough good things about Jamie Webster, Boss Night, Kieran and all the other guys. Like, absolutely fantastic. Craig, I love the conversation about the chants last night. What's your favourite one? I think I said last night that John Terry's Mahwa made me laugh. But The Fields of Anfield Road is my favourite Liverpool song. I've explained this one before why. A friend of my father-in-law's wrote The Fields of Athenry, Pete St. John. So when that then is translated over to The Fields of Anfield Road, it's kind of special. Okay, what else have we got? Are people asking the fastest field game of the world? I guess you're talking about hurling there, Pat, which is, I believe, the fastest field game of the world, as you said. Somebody described hurling before as a mixture of Quidditch and murder, and I thought that was a brilliant description of hurling. I'm Juicy Weenus said, I'd say he might go, but hopefully Gerrard will take over and take up where Klopp left off. Hopefully Klopp's won the Premier League by that time. Not only do we deserve it, but Klopp deserves it. Yeah, it's I don't even want to think about life after Jurgen Klopp. I just want to enjoy the time that he's here. But it's not big where you live, Jaden, but in Ireland we do have a cricket team. Yeah, we do have a cricket team. A cricket team that are now a test nation. It's important to point out as well. Am I going to the Ireland-Denmark game? Probably, Casper. We'll probably... Now that we are accredited FAI media journalists, we probably will go to the game, mate. Yeah, probably. We won't know till much closer because the way the media stuff is done, you apply and you only find out a few days before the game. Champions League next week, said Dominus Earth. Who is your first game up against, mate? I haven't paid attention to Manchester City's fixtures. Obviously, the Reds are away in Naples against Napoli, which is a very tricky first game. Where is your chair? I am going tomorrow to do the photo shoot for the chair. So finally, myself, Connor, are going to go down to Waterford to finally get introduced to the beautiful chair that's been sitting there. Get the photos done and then see about getting the chair sent up to my house. But yeah, the photo shoot will be done tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to seeing the chair in person. And again, massive shout out to Beth and Paul from Serendipity Furniture. I've said this time and time again, ladies and gents, if you've seen the chair, you can contact the guys at Serendipity. They can make anything for you. Anything you want on the chairs, they can do. They're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, they're on Instagram. Just look up Serendipity Furniture. It is what they've done. They've made a chair for Jesse Lingard. They're doing one for a Playboy bunny at the minute as well. They did one for me, so I think that's a good fit. Lingard, Playboy bunny, Craig. Seems fair. But yeah, so the chair will be, hopefully, by the time I come back from Florida, it should be ready to go for streams. I should be using the new chair and I'm so excited about it. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it already, so you don't need me to show a picture of anything. I'm really looking forward to it. But keep an eye on the social media accounts, because once we get the photo shoot done and stuff, we will put the pictures up. Right, let me see some more stuff. I said I had some fun stuff to talk about. Let me get to it. Actually, Gino Wijnaldum has admitted that he occasionally gets angry towards Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp. He said, with the manager, it's more or less a love or hate thing. I'm sure Klopp has the best interests at heart with every player in the squad. Sometimes as a player, you're so intensely involved in a match and then the manager is still chasing you. It all just boils over at times, and in my case, I do get angry with him. That's not even a fucking sentence. I do get angry with him. I still don't know what happened against Barcelona, but what was his real plan. But that night I was so angry and so disappointed that he did not start me. Looking back, we can all say that things worked out alright. We'll never know how things would have gone if the manager had have started me. There you go. I love the frankness there from Gino Wijnaldum, and again it just shows that competitive nature. Even though he had a huge part to play in beating Barcelona and getting to the Champions League final, he was still disappointed not to start, and fair play to Genie. I mean, Genie is just getting better and better, isn't he, as time goes on. I didn't think when we signed him from Newcastle he was going to have the impact at the club that he's having. Gini Wijnaldum is just a sensational footballer that did really well again for Holland against Germany the other night, scored the 4th goal, massive impact in that game, and is again so reliable for us. Right, 2 things. Actually 3 things. Where have we gone there? Sadio Mane, right, this has been interesting. So there's something come out from Transfermarkt. Sadio Mane's value has increased by 60% this year, and he's now valued on Transfermarkt at £108 million. That's the biggest increase of any Premier League player in 2019. Bernardo Silva of Manchester City is second on that list. He's now valued at £90 million. And interestingly, and we spoke about this the other night, Trent Alexander-Arnold has seen his value increase by a tremendous 77% to £72 million. That's the 3rd biggest increase of the year. So just to summarise, Sadio Mane is seeing the biggest increase in his value. It's gone up 60% to £108 million. Bernardo Silva is now valued at £90 million according to Transfermarkt, and Trent Alexander-Arnold 77% increase in the past year to a value of what they believe £72 million. What are your thoughts on that, ladies and gentlemen? Is Sadio Mane worth more than £108 million? Is Trent Alexander-Arnold worth more than £72 million? And what about even Bernardo Silva at £90 million? Just watch Chukwueze. He looks like he's got loads of potential, and said Callum. When Klopp leaves, Linder should become manager. Gerrard become manager. Gerrard assistant. Then Gerrard to become manager. So Bassett 12. Pat Moynihan said, have the green Germany away kit from the World Cup. Yeah, it's a great kit. I was very close to getting that one as well, Pat, but I just sprung for this one in the end. Joanne said there's a Twitter account for and an Instagram account for Anfield Agenda as well, which there is, and if you do want to follow us on Twitter or on Instagram, just put in Anfield Agenda. It's really straightforward, at Anfield Agenda. We're the same on both of them. If you're enjoying this stream as well, ladies and gents, and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do hit that thumbs up button and that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on notifications as well, because you never know when we're going to go live. Well, you kind of do. It's usually 9:30 at most nights, but just subscribe, motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Just hit the button. Thank you, Andrew Reid. Real pleasure, mate. Leave it out. Genie getting mad with Klopp would be a picture. Players are supposed to be pissed off if they don't play, said Aidan Andrews. Mane, the man loving the best Liverpool player at the moment. Firmino close second, said London Liver 96. Worth every penny and more. Bassett said, Craig, you should be manager after Klopp, mate. We'd be fucking relegated if I was manager of the team. Happily Egg said, we won't be selling Sadio for less than 150 million. Sadio Mane is worth a minimum of 190 million, said Casper. Aidan Andrews said Mane, and then money emojis. Karen Weaver said, Craig, what do you think of the negative press Robbo's been getting for Scotland this weekend? I think they put way too much pressure on him. There's a couple of answers to this, Karen. I actually was thinking about it a little bit today. Firstly, I'm being protective here of Andrew Robertson, and I want him shielded from all of that, because obviously, me being Irish, I couldn't give a fuck about Scotland and how Scotland got on in their internationals, nor could I give a fuck about England, Belgium or anybody else. But I do care about Andrew Robertson because he's a Liverpool player and he's the captain of Scotland and he's a proud Scotsman and he does a lot for Scottish people. He does a lot for charities in Scotland as well. And I haven't seen enough of Scotland's games to know if he deserves to be criticised for his performances, because it's Scotland, and with all the most respect in the world, I wouldn't spend my time watching Scotland play football. But he's a big fish in a small pond for the Scottish national team. I think that's a fair enough thing to say. But maybe Scottish people will be able to give you a better answer on this. I just want him shielded from the criticism as a Liverpool fan. But I think he's big enough and strong enough as a personality, Scottish national captain. He'll take that on board and he'll front up to it, because Robbo doesn't shy away from anything. Graham Sangster said, I think Robbo and Trent are on the way to being as good as Philippe Lam. Mane, better than Sané, plays for Liverpool, said Callum Talks Prem. I still, even though Callum, we've had this talk, I still read it as Callum Talks Sperm. I don't know why. I think it's because it's the first way I read it. Best football channel around, big up Anfield agenda. Thank you, mate, that's so kind of you. Brian said, seems like 100 million is the going rate for a top forward these days, but yeah, I would think Sadio's worth more than 108 personally. I think he's worth a few bob more. I would say closer to the 150 mark. What's the latest on the kit deals? There doesn't seem to be anything, mate. Nothing will come out. Yeah, I think the club won't really say anything until it's a done deal, and I wonder when it will get announced, because you want to give New Balance time to sell their shirts. It does seem to be looking like it's most likely going to be Nike, but again, we'll have to wait official confirmation. Stan Collymore or 2-pack? I'm going to go 2-pack. Shankly Spirit in that one, mate. Alice Flowers and Ajax fan in. Welcome. Great to have you with us. I hope you're keeping well. Ajax, what a wonderful club. I've nothing but respect for Ajax. Andrew Tildeho said he totally is, Craig. You nailed it on the head. Robbo is awesome. Robertson in the Scottish team is like Bale in the Welsh team. Too good, said Jack's Page. Tom Jones said not much Robbo can do from left back for Scotland. I think they're all valid points. And you guys are saying kind of what I was trying to get across as well. He will always give 100%. That is what you will get from Andrew Robertson, because that's the type of dude that he is. Would you take Rodgers back after Kloppo? No, I wouldn't. And here's why. I've always said I think that he's a good coach, but whatever it is about Europe and Brendan Rodgers just don't fucking go together. He always gets caught out tactically in Europe. So I think, no. But I do think Brendan Rodgers will go on and will further his career, will do well at Leicester, and will move on to another top job in the future. Again, not underplaying Leicester. Leicester, a very good football club, going in the right direction. Premier League champions a few years back as well. Karen said, if you want a fun Twitter account to follow, try No Context Joe Maddup. It's a funny account. There's loads of great funny Twitter accounts. Thank you, Casper, and I will try to keep up the good work, mate. So VVD has not extended his contract, said Russell. No, Russell, mate, he absolutely has not extended his contract. I'll run through it one more time, because I know a lot of people will see the stream title and be wondering what the hell is going on. Right, so according to the Echo, and a few other sources as well, but I'm only talking about where I read this from. According to the Echo, Liverpool have no imminent plans to enter negotiations to extend Virgil van Dijk's contract. Virgil signed a 5-year deal when he joined the club, and there's also a 1-year extension clause included in that deal. That means that Virgil van Dijk will be contracted to Liverpool until 2024. He'll be 33 then, almost 34 years of age. And it's believed he earns around 125k a week at present. And as I've always said, give him more money if he wants it. I mean, if Virgil van Dijk wanted to go to the club and say, hey, look, I think I deserve a new deal, the club will give it to him. I'm sure that they would, but at this moment in time, both parties seem to be fairly happy, and there's no big deal here. If it ends up in a few months' time he extends, fucking brilliant. We'll all be delighted about it. But if he doesn't, just know that he's happy, because he's always saying that he's happy here, and he is. It shows. He's proud to be a Liverpool player. He's winning the biggest trophies in world football at Liverpool. He's won the Champions League. He's won the Super Cup. He's been named the UEFA Men's Player of the Year. He's in the final few for the Ballon d'Or. He's up for the FIFA Best Award. What more can he do? What else can he achieve? Apart from the Premier League, obviously, which hopefully he'll win at Liverpool as well. Callum said, I'm going to pass the ball to old James Milner and he'll keep playing, sit down forever, feed up, have a cup of tea. You got to love Jimmy Milner. What a player. Owen Jones said, Samuel Chukwueze looks like a player for the future, or Chukwueze, excuse me, looks like a player for the future. Seen him play for his club because I watch a lot of Spanish football and he's much better than Nicolas Pepe. What I've seen, I like what I've seen of Samuel Chukwueze as well. Still raw, still a lot of development, but under Kloppo, he could be very good. He could be very good. And I wouldn't mind at all if Liverpool do go in for him. How about we talk about Agent Rian? We did last night, Jack. We spoke about Rian Brewster and Agent Rian, as you rightly said. Trying to get Callum Hudson-Odoi to not sign the contract that's on offer from a Chelsea and to come and play for Liverpool. So yeah, I love it. I love when our players do this type of stuff. More of it. We've seen Bobby do it a few times as well. Alisson's ended up here, of course. So yeah, more of that, please. So well done to Rian Brewster. Keep in his ear, mate, and keep letting him know how good it is at Liverpool. And let's see where Callum Hudson-Odoi ends up. We've been linked with him previously. John Cable said Robbo needs good players around him, which Scotland haven't got, so his hands are a bit tied. I'm from Wales, but Bale has more influence over games being a forward player. Yeah, that's a fair point. It's easier for him to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, isn't it, and create that moment of magic, which he's done for the Welsh on many occasions. And Wales, let's be fair, have better players as well. I mean, Ramsey, little wee Joe Allen, and there's some good young Welsh players coming through. Daniel James as well. Any stream tomorrow? Asked Casper. Honest answer, mate, I don't know. I don't know how long the photo shoot will take in Waterford. I don't know what time I'll get home at. Yeah, so again, just a reminder that we will be away for a week from Friday, but we're going to try and put up content while we're in America. Obviously, the interviews and stuff that we do with the supporters clubs over there. We'll try and put up reactions to the Newcastle game, the Champions League game, and I'm going to try my best to keep the content coming for you guys while we're away. But just bear in mind that for the Newcastle game and for the Napoli game, I won't be here for the regular watch-alongs that we do. It's breaking my heart genuinely, as much as I love going to Florida and as much as I'm fucking delighted to be doing that. Not being able to be on here with you guys for those two games, I feel like I'm letting everybody down. So let me just apologise for that first, because I don't do these things lightly. I usually try and time holidays and stuff around breaks, so I don't miss much football. So let me first apologise for not being around for those two games for the watch-alongs, but we'll give you as much content as we can, I promise. Yes, mate, Dijk is here, always beside me. The drink of the gods. Jack's Page said Pepe will be the next Gervinho, and I'm not talking about his hairline. Virgil said he came because of Hendo. They share agents, and Hendo kept having a word with Virgil. I did not know that, Bernadette. Thank you. I really love that about this channel, mate. I learn so much from you guys every time I come on, which is brilliant. Thank you so much. Virgil van Dijk came because he's the same agent as Hendo, and he had a word. That makes me love Hendo even more, Bernadette. Germany kit ? People always get confused when they see me wearing loads of different kits. I'm a chav, Danny. I just collect football kits, mate. The only thing I will never wear is a Manchester United shirt. But I probably wouldn't wear an England shirt either, if I'm being quite frank about it. But yeah, I've Germany shirts, Holland shirts, Argentina shirts, loads of MLS shirts, Ireland shirts. I just collect football shirts, mate, because I'm a chav that just wears this type of gear all the time. Dressing up for me usually involves not wearing tracksuit bottoms and wearing a pair of jeans. Where's Sixie? Where she always is, mate, downstairs on the fireplace underneath the television, looking all sexy. Craig, we might be able to survive without you for a week. I hope so. Wouldn't wear any other Premier League shirt or England. Exactly. That's it. You've nailed it. I wouldn't wear a Premier League club shirt or an England shirt. But I will wear pretty much every other shirt. Right, I did say I had something really good to talk about earlier on. I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Well, I've left it till last. There was a really good piece in the Echo. And we spoke about this last night, which is why when I seen it in the Echo today, I thought, were they listening to our conversation? They weren't, obviously. But so we had a conversation last night, or maybe it was the night before, around the worst players to have been signed by Liverpool Football Club. Remember this? Well, touching on that conversation, there was an article in the Echo about the worst 10 Liverpool transfers of the past decade. Now, Let me know who your worst is before we get through this list, because I will go down through the list, but there was a good piece, as I said, going through the 10 worst signings by Liverpool Football Club in the last decade. Who's your worst, ladies and gentlemen? Who's your worst signing? Casper said Klopp asked Wijnaldum about VVD before VVD signed. Brian could do the watch-along, doesn't have the looks, but he'll do, said Dave Sweeney. He could do it, but there's a lot of technical stuff to be done for like the background, the surround, and all that type of stuff. And again, I'm assuming about Brian having that much spare time on his hand, and he's already said to you there, go fuck yourself. So I think that gives you your answer. Poulsen said London Liver. Andy Carroll said Casper. Poulsen for Blue. Lambert for Danny Williams. Do you know Ricky Lambert didn't even make the top 10? Daniel, Ricky Lambert didn't make the top 10. Konchesky for Doug. Charlie Adam for Graham. Konchesky or Bogdan for Tom Boland. Bogdan didn't make the list. Konchesky said Eric. Balotelli was bad, said Isaac. Jack said Markovic, Balotelli, Lambert, Bogdan, Carroll. Prez Salah said Lambert. Again, he wasn't in the top 10. I'm just reading through just to make sure. Yeah, no Lambert and no Bogdan in the top 10. Anybody on the stream remember Sean Dundee? Absolutely, but this was the past 10 years. We didn't sign Flanagan. Flanagan came through the youth system, Evil Nadez or Nad, so wouldn't count as a signing. Get Lucas to do the watch-alongs while we're away. I mean, if you think I swear, little dude on here, you like, I know I've blown a few pairs of headphones by shouting, but yeah, little man would be nuts. Right, let me go through the list. We'll go through it together. Number 10 on the list, so the 10th worst signing of the past decade was Loris Karius, was the person that was voted number 10. Number 9 was Charlie Adam, and a couple of you guys mentioned that. Sean Dundee wasn't in the past decade, so doesn't come into the consideration for this particular list. Number 8 on the list was Joe Cole. Joe Cole voted the 8th worst player Liverpool have signed in the past decade. Number 7 was a shout from a lot of you guys in the chat, Christian Poulsen. Number 6, Mario Balotelli. Number 5, Fabio Borini, somebody who I was particularly annoyed about because Brendan Rodgers told us that we were in for a really exciting time when we signed him. Now we're getting into the big ones, and none of you guys have mentioned this yet, but number 4 on the list was Stuart Downing. Quite a bit of money at the time. Didn't really do it at Liverpool. Always seemed to bottle it at the very highest level. But yeah, Stuart Downing was number 4. Now we're into the top 3, ladies and gents. Number 3 on the list was Paul Konchesky, mentioned by a lot of you guys. Somebody who I despise and I almost blank out of my head as having ever played for Liverpool Football Club. And we've mentioned that his mother was quite gobby as well with regards to her points on his time at Liverpool. Number 2 on the list was Lazar Markovic. Obviously, we signed him from Benfica. We had to buy out Chelsea in that deal because I think Chelsea had a stake in Lazar Markovic, or at least they had first refusal on him or something like that. So, number 1 on the list was mentioned by a lot of you guys. It is, of course, Andy Carroll. £35 million at the time when we sold Fernando Torres. So, yeah, Andy Carroll had been voted the worst Liverpool signing of the past decade. So, Loris Karius, number 10. Charlie Adam, 9. Joe Cole, 8. Christian Poulsen, 7. Balotelli, 6. Fabio Borini, 5. Stuart Downing, 4. Paul Konchesky, 3. Lazar Markovic, 2. And Andy Carroll voted the worst signing of the past decade. Tom Jones said John Joe Shelby. Would he have made the top 10? I don't know. Was Shelby that bad? Maybe. I mean, there's an argument for Harry Kewell wouldn't have been in the last decade. Jovanovic, I think, was a free transfer, so I don't know if maybe that's why he wasn't down. But he was dog shit. You're right. He wasn't great. Konchesky, lower league player, said Aidan Andrews. Elijah John 5 said Karius, me without a doubt the worst signing of the past 10 years. That's very harsh, mate. Very harsh. He was a terrible signing, but I don't know if he was the worst in the past 10 years. No Ricky Lambert. No, didn't make that list. Now, this isn't my list, by the way, people, so don't be having a go at me. This is coming from the Echo. But yeah, no Ricky Lambert in the list. Maybe they were trying to be a bit nice because Ricky Lambert's a Scouser. Best Klopp signing, asks 40-year-old Virgil. Good name, by the way. I would say Alisson or Van Dijk. Alisson or Van Dijk, for me, would probably be the two answers. Didn't Carroll cost as much as Suarez? More. I think he cost more, mate. I don't remember exactly how much Luis Suarez cost, but I remember Andy Carroll was at 35 million, obviously. I think, was Suarez not like 32, maybe, something like that? LFC 1892 said Konchesky, Adam, Markovic, Downing, Ali Sissoko, Carroll, Poulsen, Barini, Lambert were all terrible. Why the hell did we sign Downing? That was, wasn't that a signing recommended by, God, what's your man's name again? That fucking chancer. Oh God, what's his fucking name? The guy who's still going around shouting on about Liverpool to this day. Somebody would help me out in the chat. I can't think of the guy's name. Let me scroll down. 22.5 for Suarez. There you go. Much cheaper. Who was it that was involved in the guy who came from Spurs at the time? The guy who was behind Gareth Bale's signing and that. Damien Comolli. That's the one. Damien Comolli. That's the guy I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I think he had a large part to play in the signing of Stuart Downing. I think he was brought in basically to try and put the ball onto Andy Carroll's head as well. Brian said harsh on Carroll, injuries fucked him. Some of those, but he did live the right lifestyle as well, Brian, if a professional footballer, and he's admitted that himself. I mean, when you're falling off bar stools and getting injured. What did Konchesky's mum say? Just have a Google of it, Nathan. Just Google Carroll, I think her first name was, and you'll get the information, because I don't want to give out half stories or half truths. Carroll 35 million. Suarez was LFC 01 to 28, but a couple of people are saying somewhere between 22 and 25. I remember Carroll scoring a cracker against Man City, and it was a cracker. Elijah John 5, you're right, it was a fucking belter, that goal. Loads of varying amounts here for Suarez, by the way. 22.5, 24, 25, 27. It was less than Andy Carroll. I think we can all agree on that one. Press Salah said our best signing under Klopp was Klavan. Actually, watching the other night, I was watching the Inter Cagliari game, and seeing Ragnar Klavan on there made me smile. Nathan writes that Klopp's best 5 signings: Mane, Van Dijk, Alisson, Salah and Robbo. What a bargain, Robbo. I mean, a Kevin Stewart swap, basically. Manquillo was disappointing also. Wouldn't have come in. Would Manquillo have been in the last decade? Was Manquillo signed under Rafa? I don't know if he was in the last decade or was that before. I don't know. My memory's shocking. But yeah, he wasn't great. Still doing the rounds. Who's Manquillo playing for now? I know he was in the Premier League recently enough. Who's Javier Manquillo playing for right now? Does anyone know? John Mack said King Kenny said was right when he said Hendo was the future, or was for the future, not for now. Comolli was trash, said Aidan Andrews. That was more a bad club signing though. Yes, you're right, Brian. We should never sign Andy Carroll. It was ridiculous. Alberto Aquilani, we brought him in when he was injured. Yes, the little prince, we spoke about this, signed from Roma as a Xabi Alonso replacement, and injured when we brought him in and never fucking really recovered. Balotelli and Benteke were awful. Yeah, how the fuck did Christian Benteke not make that list, by the way? That's a very good point. How on earth did Christian Benteke not make that list of the worst 10 transfers? That's a really good point. Manquillo plays for Newcastle, said Press Salah. Is he still there? There you go. Rafa loved him a bit of Manquillo then, didn't he, if he brought him into Newcastle? Was he signed by Rodgers? Was he really? I thought Javier Manquillo was signed by Rafa Benitez. Maybe I'm just saying he's Spanish, therefore he was signed by Benitez, but was he? If I'm wrong, again, I'm wrong. I thought he was signed by Rafa, but there you go. Brian said he's at Brighton. He was at Liverpool in 14-15. Was he? Oh, Jesus Christ. 14-15. My God, we've come a long way in such a short period, haven't we? 14, 15. And here we are now, champions of Europe for what? The 6th time? Yes, the 6th time. Super QWERTY says Xabi Alonso cost 10.7 million, one of Liverpool's greatest signings, without a doubt. What a fucking footballer Xabi was. Asaidi's a good shout as well, central red, when he came in under Brendan Rodgers. Is Manquillo still only 25? Jesus Christ almighty. Oh my goodness. Still only 25. That's mad. Aspas was a flop for us, but he's doing alright in Spain. Yeah, he's done decent. I tell Vigo went back where he came from and doing quite well. He was signed by Rodgers. There you go. Well, there you go. Then signed by Brendan Rodgers. Never good enough, and isn't good enough now at Newcastle, I'd imagine. Or Brian said he was at Brighton. Benteke overhead kick versus United. Yeah, but the shame about that was it meant nothing. It was a great goal, but it meant nothing because we still didn't win the game. How on earth did we waste so much money on flops? It doesn't get talked about enough. It did at the time, Ken, but what is beautiful to see now is how clever our transfer policy is and what value Liverpool are getting in the transfer market over the past 3-4 years, mate. It is tremendous. We spoke last night about our squad now being valued as the fourth most expensive squad in, and not expensively assembled for value in the world at 950 odd million pound. Just goes to show how good our transfer policy has become. Andy Carroll had a negative effect after we sold him because we were so afraid to buy expensive players for a few years after, said SDC. Mark 10 said Joe Cole. Yep, he made the list at number 8, mate. Wasn't great at all. Bernadette said Carroll played brilliantly with Joey Barton and Nolan supplying him at Newcastle. He wasn't the same on his own. Probably because of the goal against United. But that goal meant nothing. That's the thing. That goal against Manchester United meant fuck all. Aspas and Luis Alberto turned out to be decent. Luis Alberto, I think he's still at Lazio, if my memory's right, and definitely doing well enough over there. Manquillo won us the last minute penalty against Ludo Goretz. I was at that game, mate, and I remember just screaming at Mario Balotelli, like saying, "You just do something, Mario. Just fucking do something." Safe to say that Rodgers was damn right awful in the transfer market, said Jack. Callum said, I miss Clavan. I don't know why I can't forget his last minute winner versus Burnley. We all love a bit of Ragnar Clavan, mate. One of those cult signings, I think, that will always be remembered fondly. Who was the other Spaniard we signed at the same time roughly as Aspas? Asks LFC 01. God, I've proved tonight how shocking my memory is, so I'll leave that one to the group. Go Aspas. At the same time as we signed Aspas. I'm going to put that one to the group. What about Robbie Keane? I think Robbie Keane 2007, something like that. So again, probably would have just fallen outside this decade. But I don't think Robbie Keane got a fair show at Liverpool, if I'm being honest. And I'm not his biggest fan. Doug said, tell me who really disappointed me. Philippe Dejan as a good shout as well. God, we had some gick over the years, didn't we? Luis Alberto was it, said LFC01. Pat Moynihan said, would not have Carroll as number 1. He played well in some games alongside Suarez. Connor still misses Ragnar Klavan to this day, as he's just put in the chat. Look, ladies and gents, I can't go through the stream without giving a shout out to Football Index, who we are working with this season and who we're proud to work with this season. If, like us, you like Football Index or you're thinking of signing up to Football Index, please do use the link in the description below. That link, if you deposit using that link, will help Anfield Agenda on a financial perspective. And of course, if you use the code AA when signing up as well, you will get some benefits. So we're not just getting you to sign up to give us money, you'll get benefits from this as well. So what you'll get if you sign up with our link below is you will get 10% bonus on any player shares purchased in your first month. That means that, as I said, you'll get 10% and that will be added into your available balance. You will also have your losses covered by Football Index in the first month up to a maximum of £1,000. Yep, you heard me right. You can lose if you were unlucky enough to lose £1,000 in your first month, email Football Index and they would refund you those losses. Connor was down like €1 something at one point, and I was like, go on, I fucking dare you, mate, go on, email them and tell them you want the euro back. I've got to make you guys aware that, of course, it is a gambling product. It is for 18 plus only, open to UK and Irish residents only, and begambleaware.org is there if you have any issues with gaming. But as I said, it will help the channel, so if you're going to sign up, if it's something you're thinking of doing anyway, please do use the link in the description below, and then put the code AA in as well to get that 10% bonus that we spoke about. Right, what have we got? Pat Moynihan said Kamoli with regards to that. Yep, we've moved on from that one. Emiliano Insua, he is still playing actually. Stuttgart. Is it Stuttgart that Emiliano Insua is still playing for, if my memory is correct? Markovic, yeah, SDC, mate, he wasn't great, was he? Joe Cole's a clown, said Ken Woods. Bobby Duncan, let's just forget about Bobby Duncan. Actually, he made his debut for Fiorentina in a friendly. They had a 1-0 win in some friendly and he played a part in it. Voronin was on fire pre-season, sewage water during the season. Voronin, the Ukrainian Chuck Norris. What else we got? Robbie shit the bed at Liverpool. I didn't really get a chance at Liverpool, Brian, to be fair to him, mate. I think Rafa was always pissed off that he got him and not him and Gareth Barry. I think he wanted both of them. Imagine prime Torres, Suarez and Salah in our front three. That was the thing, Labs Gamer, that really got me at that whole situation where Torres left. Because we had planned, we were signing Luis Suarez regardless of what happened with Fernando Torres. So can you imagine if Torres had have stayed and we would have had a front two of Suarez and Torres, and then Raheem Sterling coming through on that as well, Daniel Sturridge perhaps, and then Philippe Coutinho a bit further down the line. Fucking hell. Whew. Torres and Suarez together, my God, that would have been unbelievable. And that was the plan. Moreno, gone back to Villarreal, isn't he? Did Hodgson make a decent signing? Did Hodgson sign Raul Morelos? Was that a Roy Hodgson signing? I can't remember, because Raul Morelos wasn't the worst of them, I have to say. I don't know if he was a Hodgson signing or if he was before Roy, but he wasn't the worst of them, Raul Morelos. Loved Maxi Rodriguez, said Bernard F. Farrell. I loved him as well. Little Maxi Rodriguez with the little woolly gloves and stuff on him. Came from Atletico, I think. Scored some really good goals. And yeah, a good player. Somebody I like very much as well. Charles Atangi, wasn't he the fucker? I could be wrong, but wasn't Charles Atangi the guy who was smiling during the minute silence at one point for the 96? Was that Atangi, or have I got that wrong? Why did we lose Maxi? I think age caught up with him, Casper, if my memory serves correct. LFC 8092, so they actually like Sotirios Kyriakos, the Greek wall. He had some good moments. He had some decent moments. Do you remember as well, what's his name? Mauricio Pellegrino? Or Mauricio, I always get mixed up. Pochettino, Pellegrino. The guy that came in that worked with Rafa at Valencia. I've never seen somebody turn so slowly in my life as a centre back as him. Trent Alexander-Arnold's the best in his position. You're not going to get many arguments from me on that one, Ross. Remember how good Sturridge was with Suarez. Yep, 13-14 was absolutely exceptional. Those guys. And Raheem Sterling. You can't talk about those without including Raheem Sterling. John Mack said, Craig, if we get this Nike deal, do you think we will get some overpriced marquee player? I think it will help us get a Nike athlete or a Nike ambassador, if you want to call them that, in. Yeah, I don't know who. But it will help. I think it'll help open some doors, or at least start some conversations. And I'm all for it. I'm all for whatever's best for the club. They wouldn't be my first choice of kit manufacturers, but if they put the most money down and they are able to attract players to the club, then I'm all for that. It was Atangi, yeah. Well then, fuck Atangi. I think you will all agree with me on that one. What else we got? Maxi was as good as Riera. Yeah, Riera wasn't bad either, actually. Alberto Riera. Was it Alberto or Alberto? It was Alberto Riera, yeah. He wasn't too bad either at all. Had some decent games, quite tidy. It was always solid enough, never outstanding, but yeah, I didn't mind Vieira at all. Bruno Cheyrou. The new Zidane. Do you remember when we signed him? Bruno Cheyrou, the new Zinedine Zidane. Happily Egg said if you checked out most top of the half Premier League teams, they've all had bad signings. I mean, Chelsea have had some absolute fucking stinkers at the top level. I mean, at some decent money. Do you remember everybody kept buying Juan Sebastian Veron, and it didn't matter how shit he was, everybody was still buying him. Everyone was still happy to throw serious money around for Veron, and he was an absolute bag of shit in the Premier League. Morientes was disappointing, Brian, you're right, and I was so happy when we signed Fernando Morientes. Just the wrong time, maybe not the right league for him, but I will still look back on Fernando Morientes as a fantastic footballer. Mbappe, Real Madrid, what I've read tonight that Real Madrid plan on going 100% hugely focused on signing Mbappe next summer. You've probably read those stories yourself today, but apparently he is their prime target, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anthony Letalak, he came in with Florence in him upon goal, I think around the same time, didn't they? Anthony Letalak and Pongol. Didn't quite make it either. Do you think Firmino is a modern Dirk Kuyt? It's a good show. Yeah, no, it is a good show. I would say an even better Dirk Kuyt, but somebody mentioned a similar thing last night, Kieran, and yeah, very similar type of work ethic. All of the hard work often doesn't get appreciated, and I've nothing but love for Dirk Kuyt as well. Anyone else remember Jordan Rossiter, aka the next Gerrard? Yep, I do. Little Jordan Rossiter. He went up to Rangers at one point, didn't he? What else we got? Shevchenko, yeah. Shevchenko didn't work out. I mean, you could go through a shit ton of players that Chelsea have brought in, particularly from a striking perspective, that hasn't worked out. Shevchenko didn't work out. We said Veron didn't work out. I know he wasn't a striker. Higuain was an absolute fucking waste when they brought him in at the end of last season. The guy who's now at Atletico, what's his name? The guy who couldn't hit a barn door with a banjo. Fucking hell. What is his name? Young Spanish striker, was really good at Real, went to Juventus, was good there, went to Chelsea, was shite. His name's escaped me for the minute. Yeah, Chelsea have had quite a who's who of fucked up signings. Yes, Alvaro Morata, thank you. Yes, I would say Ballack was a success. To be fair, Eric, Michael Ballack was a very, very good footballer. Hernan Crespo, another good show. Machaia Kesman, yep, another very good show from Doug. Bakayoko, yep, they had to ship him out to AC Milan. Yeah, like exactly. There's been and they, let's not forget as well, they got rid of Kevin De Bruyne, they got rid of Mohamed Salah. Arsenal had Francis Jeffers, said Tom Jones. Robin wasn't great at Chelsea. Yeah, it was alright, to be fair. I wouldn't say Robin was a massive, massive disappointment. Houllier chose Juve over Anelka. I will never understand why we didn't. When we had Nicolas Anelka on loan, I'll never understand why we didn't make that deal permanent. He was quite good when he was here. His attitude seemed to be right. I mean, I was baffled why we never made that Nicolas Anelka deal permanent. I would have loved for him to have stayed at Liverpool, I'm not going to lie. What else we got? Eric said, I agree Ballack was good, but not at Chelsea. What else have we got? I love Ballack, even though he was a Chelsea legend, said Kieran Aaron. I heard Chelsea let Salah go, but they can't be that stupid, can they? Yes, and Kevin De Bruyne. And not just Chelsea, it was fucking Jose Mourinho on both occasions, mate. Jermaine Pennant, yeah, he wasn't great. At least somebody told me, actually, was it Blue? I think it was Blue. Said that Blue actually knows Jermaine Pennant and he regrets not doing more during his time at Liverpool, which I was actually glad to hear that he looked back on it and did have, his regrets that he might have maybe done a bit more. Is Virgil wanting to leave? No, Paul. No, God, no. Nothing's further from the truth, mate. No, the reason of the stream title, mate, is because there was stories doing the rounds that he was about to agree a new deal. But no, he definitely does not want to leave, mate. He is very, very, very happy at Liverpool Football Club, Paul. So don't worry about that, mate. Arian said, when Liverpool signed Salah, it was one of the worst signings to this day, and Liverpool still haven't recovered from it. If you're drinking, Arian, you've had too much. If it's a joke, we'll teach you how to deliver a joke a little bit better than that. Jean-Michel Ferry. So Greg, some absolute belter names coming out here. Gregory Vignal, Massimo Taibi at Manchester United. Yeah, they just couldn't replace. I mean, when they got rid of Schmeichel, they went through a period where it was just shit goalkeeper after shit goalkeeper until they stumbled across Edwin van der Sar. I mean, some of the stuff that Barthez got up to was hilarious. Elijah John 5 said Anelka was a great player. Actually, do you remember we had a chat last night about Jorge Campos, the old Mexican goalkeeper? I actually went back and had a Google today and looked through some of his old jerseys, and my goodness, they were bright, let's quite say. Even for the day, they were something special. Aidan Andrews said Harry Kewell always injured. Oh, when we signed him, I think I've probably told you this story before, Aidan. When we signed Harry Kewell, I was in the A&E of St. Vincent's Hospital, and I'd seen on the television that he'd done his press conference to say that his next club was going to be Liverpool. And I was thinking, that's it now. We've got that left side sorted. I was always disappointed we hadn't gone for Duffer. And then when I heard we were getting Harry Kewell, I just thought, that's it. We fucking nailed it here now. Because at Leeds, he was sensational. But it just never, between injuries and that, it just never worked out at Liverpool. Which is, it's really sad because I was so happy when we signed him. Sebastian Scalacci for Arsenal said Doug. Pennant was tapped up by Gerrard during a game, said Craig Adams. David Newell said, I do removals and I moved John Obi Mikel and he told me Ballack was the worst trainer he'd ever seen. He did everything and anything to get out of training, and Lampard is the best footballing brain. I agree about Lampard. I've said before, Lampard's a very, very intelligent man. Jean Obi Mikel, the guy who signed for Manchester United and then said that he was forced into it basically and had to go and play for Chelsea. That was Jean Obi Mikel, wasn't it? Yes, I understand what the fuck sarcasm is, Charlie, mate. I'm well aware of what sarcasm is. It just wasn't delivered very, very well at all. Christopher said, hi there, mate. I'm a little confused as why Coutinho doesn't fit into our formation. Is it because he's an attacking midfielder or that he has to contribute to defending? He's not a fucking Liverpool player, mate, so there's no point to have this conversation. Sorry. What's the point in talking about a player that isn't a Liverpool player? You're not even asking in a past tense term, so... Who is Chukwueze? He is a player that plays for Villarreal, mate. A wide, pacey forward. Somebody who we've been tracking for a while. And definitely somebody to keep an eye on. If that's a serious question, by the way, Christopher Herbert, he did always fit into our system. It's just I think that we relied a little bit too much on him from time to time. And it was almost as if players would just say, oh, not much on, give the ball to Coutinho. Let's see if he can do something. And it got to a point where he was taking a lot of shots from distance and stuff like that. I always felt that he was a bit of a luxury in our system, and that he wasn't really a player who I thought Klopp would have signed if he wasn't at the club when he arrived. But that's my little take on it, mate. So again, if I came across harshly, I didn't mean to, but I don't know if you're being sarcastic or if it was a genuine question. Jake Kisma, how are you, buddy? It's been a while. Hope you're keeping well. Worst manager at Spurs, to Christian Gross. Was he the guy that arrived with his fucking tube ticket, holding up his tube ticket to show that he'd got to train to White Hart Lane for the press conference? Barnby played for us and the Bitters, actually. Nick Barnby. Drogba was easily one of the... Okay, mate, you are just a dickhead, Arian, is all I can say. I'm going to hide you. If it's fun, actually, for me getting to remove somebody from the channel there, mate. Your sarcasm is shite, mate. Your banter is shite. Your comments are shite. And you are now gone, my friend. So, TTFN. Mellor, that goal versus Arsenal stoppage time. Yeah, that was a massive goal. He loves talking about it as well, doesn't he, old Neil Mellor? And I like Neil Mellor, to be fair. Iveta, how are you? Welcome in. Manninger, worst Liverpool signing. One of the strangest. I mean, I think it was more from a coaching perspective that we brought in Alex Manninger. What else we got? What did he say about Drogba? He was trying to be sarcastic again because he's had two smart arse comments saying he was the worst signing in the Premier League era. I mean, come on, to be fair. Jay Spearing, so Pat Moynihan, little Jay, wee Jay Spearing. Barros was okay, but wouldn't get close to our first team now if he was still in his prime, said Elijah John 5. He used to frustrate the hell out of me, Milan Barros, I have to say. Did some things really well, and other things, if I had hair, I'd have been pulling it out. Irrelevant Arsenal fan, anyway. Oh, yeah, exactly. They're all fucking irrelevant, mate, to be fair. Dominic Solanke didn't work out too well. Yeah, but we got decent money for him, to be fair, Andy. Didn't work out, you're right, but somehow managed to get good money from Bournemouth. Christine said, I was heavily pregnant for that Mellor goal. I jumped up, nearly had the kid on the spot. Oh no. Well, hopefully, I'm sure that mother and baby were okay in the end, Christine, but it was a very important goal and a very good goal from Neil Mellor as well. I was actually in my grandmother's house with my uncle watching that game. But yeah, what a goal. And I'm glad that everything worked out okay in the end, Christine. Nabil Fekir, the one that got away, said Shay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he works out at Betis. From Betis' point of view, they're obviously hoping he has a good season, stays injury free, and they could probably then go and cash in on him for a massive fee at the end of the season. Oh well, bro, love the German top, one of the best ones they had. Yeah, I've said many times, mate, I don't usually wear white tops, but like you said, once I seen this one and I had that old kind of wavy thing from like the 1990 shirt, I had to get it. I actually have an Adidas modern replica of the 1990 shirt, but it has a black collar. Like, you can buy it on the Adidas website, and they're probably the two of the only white tops that I really own. No worries, mate. I was only asking, so the discussion around Coutinho returning was no longer can fit into Liverpool's style of play. Couldn't catch a stream before, so gave the question a go. No worries, mate. And Christopher, as I said, mate, I didn't mean to come across harsh. I actually, in all honesty, I had gotten you confused with that smart arse that I kicked out of the chat a minute before that, mate. So that's my bad. I do apologise. And thank you for your question and for your time. Gaming YouTuber said, literally remember when people hyped up Lazar Markovic. Shame. He was, yeah. Am I Irish? Indeed I am, Audrey, mate. I am Irish. Who was the Wigan striker that scored a bicycle kick at Anfield? Jesus, I don't know, mate. My memory's shocking. You should know that. He might be the new Danielson, said Boris B. Germany have the best international kits. I would agree with you on that, David Newell, and I would put the Netherlands second. I think Holland have had some absolute beauties over the years as well. Why did we sign Stephen Cocker? Made no sense. Yeah, it was a short-term deal, wasn't it? A 6-month loan deal, and I think the only time he really got a run out was when we stuck him on up front when we needed a goal. There's one like your shirt which is on the Liverpool shop. Very nice design. Oh yes, I know the one that you're talking about, Charlie. Yeah, I had that tracksuit actually when I was a kid. It's a white top that you're talking about that has the grey and red. It is really nice. Darren said, have a soft spot for the Italian World Cup kit in 94. Probably because Ireland beat them 1-0, mate, and Paul McGrath was like a human wall. The Irish Italian 90 kit as well, actually, is a fantastic kit. Loads of people asking, was it Rodallega that scored that bicycle kick? If you guys remember that, then wow. And I'm giving you credit here, Crosby, as well, although I'm assuming that you fucking Googled it because you're a cheating little fucker. But anybody who got that one, if that was correct, it was just ridiculously clever. What do I think of the Irish kits? I didn't want to touch them under Umbro, Shay, because I think any Umbro kit is generally horrible. When they were the old Adidas kits, I fucking love them. And now that they've gone to New Balance, I think they're quite nice again, Shay. I actually have the New Balance, not the newest Ireland New Balance one, the one before that. But I think they look quite smart now, mate. What about you? What do you think of the Irish kits? The old Adidas ones, though, they were pretty good. The Nigerian kit in the last World Cup was very nice. I think that is the Nike's record-breaking kit sales, if I remember, for that shirt, mate. That Nigerian shirt sold out ridiculously quick. It was gone for crazy money as well on eBay. Did Van Dijk sign the contract? No, JJZ Gaming Vlogs. And it turns out, according to the Echo, that there's no plans to even enter into negotiations for a new contract with Van Dijk because everybody's happy. He has a contract that will tie him down to 2024 if you include the 1-year extension. So yeah, there's no need to worry about an extension. Now, if it happens, it happens. But no, it hasn't happened as of yet, and it doesn't look like there's any negotiations currently taking place because everybody's happy in the situation that they're in. Van Dijk loves being here. The club are happy having him. He seems to be happy on his wage. But I'm sure if Virgil van Dijk wants to sit down with the club will be happy to sit down and look at his contract again. I mean, he could be a potential Ballon d'Or winner. The South American sash kits are the best ones. Yeah, it was last night we spoke about the River Plate kit, Brian, and I absolutely love that River Plate kit. Christian Nemeth. Now there's one, Hungarian, wasn't he, Andrew? If I'm correct, Nemeth. My name is Jack, and what county am I from? I'm from Dublin, Audrey. Well, Jack, sorry. I'm from Dublin, but I don't live there anymore. And I'm not going to say where I do live because Connor's sitting at home now laughing, waiting for me to say the usual. Okay, what else have we got? Ronnie Rosenthal, that miss. Oh, the miss, that Ronnie Rosenthal miss. Let's not even talk about it. Right, look, ladies and gents, I'm going to call that a night. It's around the time we usually finish up anyway. I'm not 100% sure whether there'll be a stream tomorrow night. Just keep an eye on your notifications. As I said, we're doing the photo shoot with the new chair, the one that Serendipity Furniture kindly made for us. So keep an eye out on the notifications. If you haven't subscribed, please do hit that button. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the stream as well if you can. It only takes 1 second and it means the world to us. Thank you guys so much for your time as always. We've got through this international break weekend. We've done it. Next weekend, the Reds are back in action. Thank you so much for your time as always, folks. And up the motherfucking Reds.